And it's quite clear that Raina is not on the same page as Christy, Bree, Ken, and Lil Miss Chip Chip, because I am sure they wouldn't be too happy to hear her blabbing on and on about how bad she felt about Nick. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Danielle. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Sorry I've been a little MIA lately. I've been working on a really in-depth video that's taking a lot longer than I expected, but I will have that up very soon, so stay tuned. You will not want to miss it. Anyways, a few days ago, from the time that I'm filming this, a YouTuber by the name of Sir Morbid was on a live panel with a bunch of other YouTubers, and they were discussing Ken. Basically, they were saying that Gypsy and her friend Bree, you know, the one that's like her little attack dog that she sends to attack other creators on TikTok, and the one she sends to copyright strike people's videos. Well, Sir Morbid was saying that Ken was being manipulated and emasculated by Gypsy and Bree, and how basically he's really not allowed to talk or have an opinion of his own because Gypsy and Bree pretty much control everything. And Christy as well, allegedly. And then he starts talking about how Ken must not respect his own mom because he didn't have his own mom at the baby shower.
Look, Ken, I'm going to tell you, bro, you're not that bright. And,
but I don't think he's that dumb to do that.
no, he is for sure. So he's trapped, dude. He's fucked. His life is over. And somebody that doesn't respect their own mom, because the mom never comes around anymore. The mom wasn't even at any of these celebrations, big celebrity celebrations, not celebrities, celebrations like the gender reveal. Raina was nowhere in sight because
his family isn't
don't
allowed.
like your mom. Let's be honest.
Well, shockingly, Raina, who is Ken's mom, dropped a comment in the chat, and Sir Morbid was like, "Is this Raina?"
And I don't think Gypsy gives a shit either way about his mom. I don't think she's that significant in his life. Is that Raina? Is that
Well, sure enough, it was Raina who was commenting, and she ended up hopping on Sir Morbid's live stream and joining the panel. And honestly, I have to give her a lot of credit for this because she just seemed really genuine in the way she was speaking. I give her major props for putting herself in that position and speaking so openly. So she started off by talking about how she doesn't have TikTok anymore and she deleted it because she just found that it was a really negative space for her. But she made it clear that although she has disappeared from TikTok, she has not disappeared from her son's life, nor will she be disappearing from her grandchild's life. She says she's still very much present and involved despite the online drama.
I take it really personal when I'm accused of things I am not doing, and that's chasing clout or making money when it pertains to my
You're not doing that. We would have called you out for that long time ago, and that's not happening.
So I backed off, and I deleted TikTok. I didn't really like TikTok. It was just a very negative app, so I deleted it.
Yeah,
but no, I haven't disappeared out of my son's life, and definitely not my future grandchild.
So Raina,
how is Ken? How's Ken doing?
Yeah. So what's the dynamic between you?
Yeah.
I mean, Ken reports he's doing great, and he's working. He reports he doesn't really like his job, but hey, I worked a job for almost 5 years. I didn't like it. Happens sometimes.
She also explained why she wasn't at the gender reveal party. Apparently, she says that she had just started a new job and a gender reveal party is not a good enough reason for her to be asking for time off so soon.
I had just started a new job, literally not even 2 weeks before the gender reveal. Okay. And you can't just come at a new job saying, sorry, gotta get, if it were the birth of the baby, I would have said that upon getting the offer letter. But a gender reveal is not a solid enough reason to go take off time from a brand new job. But I'll be there for the birth, of course.
When Raina was asked if she could describe her relationship with her son, Ken, it was evident that she's incredibly protective of him and wants to stand up for her son. But I don't think she got the reaction from the panel that she was expecting. It seems like she was expecting a more hostile reaction, and once she realized that they weren't going to attack her in any way, she started to loosen up quite a bit.
I love Ken. I mean, I think in so many ways he's a great guy. I realize I'm in a room full of people who do not like him or his decisions.
Oh,
But
we
I'm
kind of
his
like
mom,
Ken.
so
We kind of
I
like
think
Ken.
Ken is
Yeah.
great. I mean, do we make stupid decisions sometimes? Of course. But unlike so many people in the room, I don't hate Gypsy. I've met her. I talked to her. I think, so I'm entering, I think it's been referred to as the lion's den.
Sure.
Oh,
And
I
so
mean, kind of, but not really. We're all adults. We can
and we like to hear everybody's
just have
perspective.
a discussion, and that's why Ken felt very comfortable speaking here. And I think he'll, in the future feel that way too. But, we're more interested in your story of how you feel and where you're coming from, because everybody has a story and we want to know yours.
Then she started talking about Gypsy and how she came to learn who Gypsy was. And she explains how at first, when she learned about Gypsy's story, she felt a lot of empathy for her. But as she started to learn more, she realized that things aren't so black and white. And I just have to say, I am so glad at least some people in this situation are starting to wake up. But she says despite the complexity of the situation, she is trying to stay positive and keep an open mind.
I'm like Ken. I met Gypsy from the documentary on HBO, and I had a lot of sympathy,
Sure.
Mhm.
Mommy dearest.
Right.
Miss you. And
Mommy
a lot of
Mommy
people have
Dearest.
had sympathy
Wow.
for her because of that. Yeah.
And now I feel, I still feel the same way. I mean, I've definitely seen other things since then that have made me go, wow, it's not
It's
maybe
not as black
100%
and white as you thought it was.
right.
Yeah.
At the same
Mhm.
time, I live my life with a very strategic positivity. I try to. I force myself sometimes to.
Good for you. Yeah.
That's hard. Yeah.
And you guys, this next part absolutely shocked me. Raina brought up Nick Godejohn. I was so shocked. Let me tell you, I was not expecting that at all. And it's quite clear that Raina is not on the same page as Christy, Bree, Ken, and Little Miss Chip Chip, because I am sure they wouldn't be too happy to hear her blabbing on and on about how bad she felt about Nick. But I can't say I am not happy to see that she has her own perspective and she's not afraid to voice it.
So the only way I can say it is as much sympathy as I have the same sympathy for Nick Godejohn as I do Gypsy. I
Yeah.
feel both
Sure.
of them made very terrible mistakes that day. I
Understood.
would love to be a part of getting Nick a fair trial. I feel very much that Nick was
That's really great to hear,
That is,
actually.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's huge of you.
absolutely. I mean,
But
I feel
these
so
are
sorry
your
for
thoughts and your feelings, which we
100%.
respect.
Yeah, and he supposedly saved her life from this life
I
abuse.
have told that to my son.
Okay.
Nick, in a lot of ways, was Gypsy's hero. I saw the Oxygen interview, and when he made that comment, my mission was to get rid of her tormentor or something, and he said, "Mission accomplished. I accomplished that mission," or
Right.
something of that effect. It just broke my heart
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
and this was a process that wasn't over a month or two. It was 2
No.
years that
Exactly.
he was.
And
Mhm.
he loved that girl, and
Oh,
probably
yes.
still does.
If you've ever seen his interrogation, all he's worried about is
I
her.
know.
Gypsy.
I know.
Then Morbid asked Raina how she would describe her relationship with Lil Miss Chip Chip. And I would take her answer with the teeniest pinch of salt, because given Gypsy's track record, we all know that she has to be very careful about what she says. Because if you don't fall in line with exactly what Gypsy wants, you're out. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Gypsy is pissed that Raina did this interview and she received a very angry phone call afterwards. In fact, she starts receiving texts and calls throughout this interview, and I bet my bottom dollar we know exactly who that was. And maybe Raina's just a bit naive right now, but I doubt it. She just better hope she doesn't end up on Gypsy's bad side, because we all know it won't be pretty. Here's what she had to say about their relationship.
Gypsy is a sweetheart. I mean, she has
Okay.
always been very respectful and kind to me. And so
Of course, though, she knows she
I
has
can't
to be.
Yeah.
I mean, true, but I mean, even when her and Ken broke up, she was still very sweet and kind to me. So
While
I mean,
she
you're
was in
right.
prison, you mean, Raina?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
And
even when she got out initially, before she and
did
Ken
she
got,
reach out to you?
she did.
Okay.
I,
Oof.
I
Well,
tried to be. I think even if Gypsy will tell you, there's been times I get on her rear end too.
well, good for you.
Then Raina was asked about what she thought about her son entering a relationship with Gypsy while she was still married, and she says something that I find quite odd. She says that the breakup was mutual, and from what we know, Gypsy's been all over the internet crying about how she was so heartbroken when Ken broke up with her and how she didn't want the breakup at all.
Well, what do you think about your son entering this relationship while she's married?
I was very against it in the beginning.
Yeah.
I scolded him. I warned him not to.
The first time Ken walked away, were you almost relieved that this was going to be in the past?
I mean, no, not really. I wasn't upset with it in the beginning because I guess there was the, I don't know, she was still behind, she was still in, I
In
wasn't upset.
prison, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when he walked away, he really battled with that because he didn't want to hurt her.
If-
And
as a mother, what was he battling with, if you could even describe that? What was he battling with during that time where he broke up with her, and then as a
well,
mom, if he shared
it
with
was
you?
mutual. It was in the very beginning. It was my understanding it was mutual. This was right after I met Gypsy. And I
Because
had told her, whatever you do, don't get married while you're in prison. And I told her when I met her, that I would talk to her woman to woman.
And when
and I
you say
would-
you met her, did you go to the
I-
correctional facility in
I
Chillicothe?
did. I
oh,
did
you did.
With
Okay.
your son
All right.
or by yourself?
by myself.
By
Okay.
yourself.
I have
Okay.
daughters that live in the area, and I went up there to visit, and I did. I made a special day of it to go meet Gypsy.
And it was a
and
good meeting, I would assume.
Yes, it was wonderful. She is, y'all. She is a very. I mean, at least, of course, yes, it could be a pit on, but she's always been very sweet to me.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Then Raina delved into why Ken initially wanted to write Gypsy when she was still in prison. And this is something I have always been curious about too and find really, really odd. She also addresses the rumors about Ken being gay and mentions how she's always wanted a gay son. And honestly, it was kind of hilarious.
He and I watched the documentary around the same time. He did mention that he wanted to write her.
Do you know what the reason was for him
Yeah,
wanting
yeah.
to write her?
It was not romantic. It was more I mean, at least the way it was presented to me. Now I've had friends say, "Well, what male prisoner did he write out to?" And I was like, "Well,
Wait, is
Oh.
Ken gay? I mean,
No.
sorry, no.
I wish."
You wish he was gay, Raina?
Look, I grew.
I love you,
got
Raina.
queer as
My
folk.
mom wishes I was gay too.
Dude, I always wanted a gay son.
You wanted a gay son. Well, you got one because
I
the
wanted
guy
to
loves
be-
cowboy bears. No,
I
I'm
wanted
kidding.
to be that like pride mom that was so,
Yeah.
marching the
You
flag.
wanted to wave
you
a
to get-
pride flag and shit?
Yes.
Good
But I-
God. Good
You're awesome,
Lord.
Raina. I like that about you.
That's pretty cool.
Well,
Raina was asked again about Gypsy and what it is that she loves about her. And we start to get a clearer picture of their relationship and the fact that they only met in person once, which is very surprising. And then we learn that Raina was actually the one who encouraged the breakup.
Let me just say, I noticed when Gypsy would talk about you, she would be like, "Oh, Ken's mom loves me. She loves me," but she never said she loved you back. That always bothered me, and that's just my stupid
Do
commentary.
you love
about-
Gypsy? Raina,
I do. I mean,
what do you
for
love
what
about
I
her?
know of her, I mean, she's just always been super kind and respectful towards me.
How many times have you
But-
met Gypsy in person?
I've only met her in person once,
Okay.
Well,
and
that's difficult too.
talked to her on the phone many times.
Mhm.
Even after she and Ken had broken up, I encouraged the breakup while in prison. She called me before she married Ryan.
Can you
I-
explain the breakup? Because there's confusion. Was there another woman involved, or
No,
what happened there?
when the initial breakup itself happened, no, it was more about. It was soon after the Dr. Phil episode where she was, interviewed by Dr. Phil, and I'm a huge Dr. Phil fan. Typical.
You're not alone.
Here. and I was saying along the same lines that you guys don't, outside of friendship, you need to keep it separate. And when the talk of marriage came, it wasn't that I was against the marriage. I was against the marriage while in prison. I
Gotcha.
felt too, that Gypsy needed to get out and experience her life. I still feel that Gypsy needs to experience her life.
Sure.
I feel, look, no grandma in the world is going to say, I wish a grandbaby wasn't coming. I have 11 grandchildren, and this will
Wow.
make my dozen, this will make my 12th grandchild.
God bless you.
I'm
Congratulations.
very blessed. Very, very
Wow.
blessed. And so, of course, I'm happy about a grandbaby coming. Was it too soon? Absolutely. Did I warn against anything? Absolutely. I'm a sensible person, but here we are. What am I going to do?
When Morbid asked Raina if Ken has shown any regret or hesitation about his life decisions lately, she said that any opinions that she would be able to offer would be just that, just her opinion. She says that just like anyone else, there are moments where you question your decisions and then other moments where you stand strong in them. But at the end of the day, she says that Ken hasn't expressed anything else but his love for Gypsy and him wanting to be there for her.
I'm pretty close with all my children. I have 5. After Ken's
Do
dad
you
and
talk to him often, or
oh yeah, I talk to him at least once a week, if not more.
has he been hesitating on his life decisions? If you could even speak to that. Are
That
you
would be an
afraid of it?
opinion. It would just be an opinion. I think we all have moments of questioning our decision, but then there's other moments we stand solid. So anything I would have to say about that would just be based on my own personal opinion. He has not voiced to me anything other than he loves Gypsy. He wants to be there for her. He's voiced to me, we've all seen the mistakes, but he wants to be there for her. I mean, for better, for worse. I mean, I know that's
Sure.
marriage,
I got that from him.
but he understands, I think, kind of like I do, that there are mistakes that she's going to make.
Like what?
Well,
Like what
just
kind of
not
mistakes?
having experienced a normal life,
Mm-hmm.
and just being so confined. Outside of anything which what I believe, just being confined in life, not going to school, not, really having a social life for so many of her years, that she's got to learn these things now.
Well,
And with
she's, I
the
guess, but she's not really out making friends or anything.
I mean, well, I think she's trying.
I mean,
She's
I'm not trying to like bash on her right now, but it's just a fact that she has like some pretty serious mental health stuff she probably is dealing with and
Sure.
having.
Sure.
So
Then the subject of social media came up, which I know is a big concern for many of us. Raina was confronted and asked if she cares or is worried that Gypsy might be exploiting this baby for financial gain or online attention. Then the topic of Gypsy's manipulation came up, and I'm so glad they brought this up. They brought up the fact that throughout her life, she has had a history of manipulating people, men especially, and they asked her, how does she feel that she might be doing the same to her son? Does she feel any type of way about Gypsy perhaps manipulating Ken? The panel shared with Raina that they feel Gypsy trapped Ken with this pregnancy.
I don't know. And I think the social media thing is a horrible idea.
I mean, I kind of agree. And like I said, I've crawled her behind a couple times, and she knows I'll crawl her behind again if one
But
thing.
she thinks this is her job. Like, and is the baby next for content? Because that she's already using her pregnancy for content.
Well, I have 3 daughters, and all
Mhm.
3 of them posted and made videos and
But
stuff.
they don't have 10 million followers and have those followers hate them.
I mean, that's true.
They also didn't murder their mom because you're here.
I mean, you're correct, Nina. I can't defend Gypsy from 9 years ago. I don't have a defense for that. I don't think, I
Well,
just
even if we take the crime away from it, like back to Nick a little bit and the manipulation that went on there, right? To me, that's a pattern of behavior with her. And I think she did it to Ryan as well.
And she's doing it
Yeah.
again to Ken.
And she's doing it to
So,
Ken, in my
clearly.
opinion.
That's my opinion too.
Oh wow.
I mean,
In your opinion,
Like, I kind of feel bad for him. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I
mean,
actually
you can-
feel terrible for your son. I spoke to him a few times privately. We had conversations that lasted an hour or so on the phone. And I felt bad. I felt like he was trapped. This is just me, kind of shooting the shit here, Raina. And I feel like he does have love for Gypsy. He feels I don't know. There's something there that he feels he needs to fulfill in a sense, but there's a trap sort of aspect from it, and that's where I feel bad for him. But then I don't, because he's an adult. He's not like he's some child, right?
Yep.
Not like my sons are 18 and 16, so that's a totally different sort of thing.
Right.
To speak into a 30-some-year-old. I don't know how old your son is, but in the 30s. So but I feel for him because I feel like he's very inexperienced in life. I sense that from just being experienced in life. Just from man to man, I just kind of like, wow, I think he's really trapped in this situation and he doesn't have a way out. I mean, I don't know. That's just from an outsider's point of view. And I'm not trying to put your son out there, but I'm just saying that's what I got from him. That's my initial sort of reaction. I've spoke to him several times, 3 times, I would say, for long hours. And that was my kind of conversation with him. Not that he hates his wife or the person that he's with, Gypsy, but
Married.
I
he
don't
wants
think it's
to
just
impress them.
Gypsy.
But
Yeah, I don't think it's just him he's having to deal with. I mean, Christy is like a package deal.
Now, you guys, this next part is so funny because you remember Bree, Gypsy's attack dog? Well, she was on TikTok crying about how Gypsy's baby name got leaked, and she was so upset because Gypsy, this poor girl, all she has left for herself is the middle name. Well, Raina leaks the middle name, and you just know Gypsy and Bree are probably fuming about this, and I love it.
are you close to your son, Raina,
Well, let
or
me say
are you
this.
kind of
The child is being named after me. So
Oh, really?
yes,
Raina is the name?
one of the names. Her
Oh,
it's
middle name?
Middle
the
name.
bullshit middle name, but still, I'll take it.
Okay, well that's
Do
cool.
you
So, okay.
do
Is
you
it
think that this child will have any form of a normal life?
You
Good
know,
question.
I know as far as I am concerned, and my son is concerned, that and Gypsy is concerned, that is what we will strive for. You know,
well, Raina, you gotta
realistically, you know that that's not going to happen.
you
because,
have to accept reality that this
yeah, that's
Correct.
Especially if
is
she's putting the
just not
child on
gonna
social
happen.
media.
but we're going to do the best we can with what we have.
You're gonna, but it's not
I hope
under
she
your
doesn't
control.
put.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep saying this. I really hope she doesn't put that child on social media.
I think it's inevitable. I think it's just going to happen.
I mean, I have to be honest. There is no doubt in my mind that Gypsy is going to be exploiting that baby all over the internet, selling baby pictures to the tabloids. But the thing is, she's already posting her baby. Even if it is just ultrasound photos, you really think she's going to be posting the whole journey, posting ultrasound photos, posting herself with fruit next to her belly, and then once the baby comes, she's going to keep it a secret? Please give me a break. Not to mention, her content is boring as hell. So I'm sure once the baby comes, she's gonna spice things up by posting baby related content, exploiting the shit out of this baby all over social media. At this point, Raina was asked how she feels about the Blanchard family, and it's clear that she's trying to keep a positive attitude. I mean, what can you really do? She's at this point. But it's nice to see that she's trying to stay positive given the circumstances, but here's what she had to say.
Hey, Raina, how do you feel about all of this that's surrounding your son? I mean, what's going through your mind? Like, how do you feel about all of this?
You know, like I said, I will force myself to keep it positive. They've gotten so much hate that I scroll past. I don't really.
Do the Blanchards contact you, like Christy or
I mean,
Rod? Or
I speak with Christy. She's very nice to me. I've never given her a reason to not be. You know, my kids will tell you, anyone who knows me will tell you, I try to be a positive force in life. I don't really talk smack. I'm very non-judgmental.
Then Morbid asks her a question I have been dying to know. He asks if she's concerned about her son being with a convicted murderer and how she feels about all of this. If she's worried, can she sleep at night? Is Ken sleeping with one eye open? He doesn't ask that, but I want to know. And this is what she had to say about Gypsy.
Raina, can I ask you, as a mother, do you fear for your son in a sense because he's with a convicted murderer of her own mother?
Good question.
Like, does that cross your mind? Is it a nightmare that you relive sometimes, honestly, or it's okay because you trust her? What are your thoughts?
It's so complicated. I'd be a fool not to have concerns.
Mhm.
But again, I force myself to keep it positive.
Right. You can't let your mind go there, is what you're
Exactly.
trying
Are there
to say.
some nights that you struggle, Raina?
Yes and no. Like I said, y'all have not had the privilege of meeting or talking to Gypsy like I have. And
What
not
kind of
that
comfort do you get from Gypsy when you speak with her in person? Because we don't know how that's like, but we could only imagine.
Oh, I can imagine.
Can you walk us through that?
I bet it's all rainbow and sunshine.
No, not at all.
Oh,
It's
Walk us
okay.
through that, Raina.
She absolutely lives with her mistake daily, and she is tormented in a lot of ways by it. She doesn't put that out because there's so many digs. She doesn't want to show that weakness, but
Mhm.
she is, you know, she is very tormented by that mistake. And I've told her that
And
she
how
has
do you
got,
feel this? What does she say to you to
she
ensure
is,
that she is tormented by this mistake?
she has told me of her dreams of
Can you share with us what those dreams are like?
just dreams of her mother, and how if she could go back in time, she would change it, and how she wishes she was more mature, like a normal 23-year-old would have been at that age, you know, at that time, that
Mhm.
she did not understand the true consequences, the true definitive consequence of what death pertained. That she,
Wait, what?
yeah,
What do you
But
Really?
mean by
do you
that?
know in an interview she recently said that she called her mom the perpetrator and said that um, she survived, and said that people want the perfect victim, but now people are upset that the perpetrator passed. Like
But
she's
yes,
villainized her mom this entire time,
Very much
including
so.
now.
but what do you mean she didn't understand what death
Yeah,
was?
that's
no, I think what she meant by that one, and this is back years ago before she got out of prison, when she was saying she didn't fully understand, she didn't really, that she has come to learn.
well, to me, that sounds
But
like she
come
just
to learn
got
what?
caught.
That
You know,
death is final
yeah, I
and
think she thought she was
gruesome?
never gonna get caught. That's just
Yeah.
personal.
Yes, I
Can you
mean,
I just got to work that out in my brain. Can you explain to me how you're telling me she didn't know that what death was?
That
What
no,
murder was?
Yeah, it was 2.5 years of grooming, at least. And thinking
And I
about
don't
it.
understand how she can say she didn't understand
So,
it.
Raina, is that what something Gypsy told you, or is that what you surmise from what you've
that's what I
heard from her?
surmised.
Yeah.
Gypsy's words to me were more like, if I could go back in time, I would change what I've done. If I could go back in time, I wish I knew then what I know now.
What, that she was going to get caught?
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
just
wish
her
I would have known I was going to get caught and I wouldn't have done it.
In my opinion, I feel that Raina might be being manipulated by Gypsy as well. Either that, or she's truly naive, or she really is trying to maintain a positive mindset. Then Nina brings up the chromosome disorder, and she asks Raina if she knows about it, first of all, and if so, how she feels knowing that her grandchild could potentially be born with this chromosome disorder.
Well, how do you feel about this chromosome disorder that she has? How do you feel about your grandchild possibly having a high likelihood of having this chromosome disorder?
She's got a 50% chance. I feel like I am forcing myself to keep it positive. We've got some really strong genes in our family.
But
And
you'll love
Yeah,
your
but
daughter
that,
no matter what. Or
oh my
Granddaughter,
gosh,
Granddaughter,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't
have
care if
you
she's
looked
born with no
into
legs or arms. She's my grandchild.
have you looked into what it is?
I have.
Okay,
Good.
so
Well, that's
you
good.
see like some of the mental health issues that she currently has stems from that as well.
Yes, and let me speak on that for just a moment.
Sure.
You know, sometimes I feel there's some hypocrisy going on with the whole, if we're going to, if that's the case, if Gypsy has some mental health issues or some issues stemming from the microdeletion, um, then why can't we give her somewhat of the same
Ouch.
break that we give Nicholas? I mean,
Because she's still out here terrorizing people.
but
This murderer is no, Raina, let's be clear. This murderer is on platforms making money off of the infamy of her mother's death. Now, if Ken had unalived you, came out of prison 8 years later, and was making money off of that,
you know,
would it
that's
matter?
all, you know, one of the things I never that I stop my children from asking is the what if question. It does no good. It's what if.
No, that's what she's doing in the current day. So what I'm saying is, if you flip the script, would that be okay? It's not a what if, because guess what? She's doing it now. So
Yeah,
flip
but
the script. If it was you that was in an urn and Ken was out here doing what she's doing, would that be okay to you? That's a yes or no answer.
I'd be in an urn. I really wouldn't care. Right? I'm in an urn. Who cares when I'm in an urn? That's me. Do I think Gypsy's mother cares? Maybe. I don't know. I didn't meet her. But y'all asked, a question about Dee Dee, and you said, I don't think
No, I don't think anyone on any level should be making money off of their infamy of having their mother killed. Someone that took 2.5 years to plot some murder and use someone else. She didn't even have the galls to do it herself. I don't think that that's something where someone should make money. In fact, I think Gypsy should have gotten the death penalty.
I have to say, Nina makes a solid point here. Gypsy is the one out here terrorizing people. She's the one profiting off this crime with documentaries, reality TV, books, social media. I mean, the list goes on and on. Yes, we can have empathy. However, that empathy starts to wane once Gypsy starts profiting off this crime and profiting off the harm she caused to her own mother. It's clear that Raina is in a really tough spot. On one hand, her son is having a baby with a demon possum, and on the other hand, she feels this natural instinct to defend and protect him, which is completely understandable. But I also think she knows exactly the type of person Gypsy is, and she has no choice right now but to go along with it in order to maintain a relationship with her son and her grandchild. She's clearly trying to keep things positive to avoid getting on Gypsy's bad side. And we all know what can happen when you're on Gypsy's bad side. You can hear exactly what I'm talking about in this next clip.
Raina is like in a position that what can you do, Raina? This is your
I'm
son.
just saying, if someone did that to my son, that it sets the stage.
I'd be torn apart. Are you torn apart, Raina, right now? Has it been a mess for you with all of this?
It must be
like
difficult.
honestly, like how are you feeling inside? Like truthfully,
it's not the answer you guys want to hear. I'm keeping it positive. I'm just hoping for the best.
but how does it feel inside, deep inside?
The past. There's nothing I or Gypsy or Ken or anyone can do to change the past.
Does it hurt you though that your son is caught up in this, Raina?
You do know history repeats itself, though.
Raina, does it hurt that your son is caught up in this?
I mean, if I could have my way, he would not be as publicly known. Such a bad thing. But
it must hurt as a mother to have your son go through something like this on a public stage.
And as a mother, and I think that's from the beginning how I looked at Gypsy too, is from mother's side. And I
get you.
Y'all say, well, she wasn't such a bad person, but this panel is full of women. So I ask you,
yeah, but her mom's head was damn near decapitated from her body.
Mm-hmm.
Do you that's why I'm like, it just kind of makes you wonder, because you as a mother, if you're saying you look at it from a mother's perspective, did you also realize where her mother was stabbed? Gypsy has a tattoo identical to where her mother was stabbed. How do you feel about
that? I didn't know that. Like I said, at this point, I scroll past.
Well, look at that autopsy picture and look at Gypsy's back. But that's something you should.
Raina, you just love your son, which makes sense to me.
Grandbaby, yeah.
And
and I'm gonna love my grandchild, and I'm gonna support them
absolutely.
The best I can.
No one should blame you for that.
Of course. Is there any part of you that wonders if it could possibly be Ryan's?
I mean, I'm assured not, so we'll see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely watched enough Maury Povich in my life that.
R.I.P. Maury Povich.
All in all, I felt this was a really great, mature, and respectful conversation. I felt really empathetic towards Raina by the end of it, and I left the interview with a deeper understanding of what she might be going through. It's really sad because she wasn't asked to be put in this situation. She was put in this situation by her son, and it's clear that she has no choice but to stay positive about the whole situation, and it's clear because she just keeps repeating that over and over throughout the interview. But I want to hear from you guys. What stood out to you in this interview, and did you leave feeling more empathy and understanding towards Raina, or do you think she's also being manipulated by Gypsy? I genuinely wish the best for her, for Ken, for the baby, but it's really hard to ignore that every single thing Gypsy touches turns to chaos. Anyways, let me know your thoughts and thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Bye guys, take care.